A WWE show in Montreal and Vince McMahon's in the building. What could possibly go wrong? I'm John Renton with the Retro Review of WWE Smackdown from October 18, 2001. The go-home show for No Mercy 2001. And whoa, we're almost there. This invasion angle, it never had a fucking prayer. We are so close to getting the Survivor Series 2001 and closing this chapter of just a bunch of missed opportunities. Humans had to be together, a hodgepodge of ideas that really could have worked had they just let the damn thing breathe and also maybe paid out a little bit more money to have the bigger stars come in. 2002 had a much better utilization of the WCW talents. It's just a real shame. But I've covered that in other reviews. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. So yeah, Montreal, pretty rich history as far as wrestling goes. And no, Earl wasn't screwing Brett on this show because Brett wasn't on the goddamn card. He would make up with WWE later. And man, Bret Hart, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. But anyway, Cole and Heyman talk about the card for tonight and also plug No Mercy throughout the goddamn thing with click, click, boom, back when saliva actually made music. So anyway, Jericho comes down. He says that he hasn't won the big one, but he will at No Mercy. Steph shows up and says she hopes The Rock cleans his cock. I mean his clock. Dwayne's Rock Hard Johnson cleaning Jericho's cock or clock. It will never, ever be the same again. So anyway, The Rock would thank me, for supporting him. So The Rock shows up and says, "Well, Steph, you're looking looks at her chest, gigantic." And then Jericho's debut is brought up. She says, "Well, remember what he did? He interrupted your promo and everything. He'll screw you again." And The Rock appreciates the concern. The Rock knows if anybody would know anything about screwing, it would be you. And mentions her big bony fun bags, and they mock her and da-da-da-da-da and all that. And she leaves, "Oh, I hate you both," and everything, probably making this motion because she's used to that. And they get rid of her. And Rock says, "You didn't stay out of The Rock's way. And like always, you failed." Oh boy, ooh, we're doing all this. And then they do it back and forth. And then Jericho does the whole thing where he does the hand thing and he gets it really close to The Rock's face. Really close to it. And then does the whole just bring it thing. That was nice. And then he gets laid out with the rock bottom. This storyline, despite the fact that they only had a little bit of time to build it because they were just throwing ideas out there, they did a damn good job really accelerating and making you invested in this. More people, I think, were invested in this than they were in the three-way with Austin, Angle, and RVD at No Mercy. And that's nothing against that match, but I think a lot of people were really locked in to see what The Rock and Jericho would do. And I do recall, even with the interference, I do recall No Mercy 2001 being a pretty goddamn good pay-per-view. That's the frustrating thing. There were some good TV matches and some pretty good TV shows during the invasion angle and the pay-per-views, despite any of the, rep bumps and shit like that. Despite any of that, there were some pretty damn good matches and some pretty stellar cards. They just burnt through so much of it. But anyway, the Alliance celebrates RVD, and how he helped, how he, showed that he was with the Alliance. He helped Austin and everything, beating Angle the previous SmackDown, then Austin regaining the title on the October 8th Raw. And Deborah made her cookies, and then Tess started being really sick. Thought that was going to play in a little bit later. But Austin says, "Cookies aside, we're here to celebrate RVD." Taz then ends up saying, "Well, RVD could end up pinning Kurt Angle and could win the championship and you would be out of that." And then Taz gets kicked out because Taz, for whatever reason, despite the fact he's with the Alliance, he keeps needling the Alliance. They beat him up and he still stays with them. I don't know. Maybe they had a height requirement in WWE and they had to clear that and the Alliance didn't. So, a limo arrives. Who is it? It's obviously Vince. It's clearly Vince because Vince has not been seen on WWE programming, I believe, since it was either the Raw right after the invasion angle, or I think it was like just very shortly after that. He was gone. He was gone right after The Rock returned and laid out Vince McMahon, which makes sense. He was written off of TV for a bit. And then it's Hurricane, Mighty Molly, and Lance Storm with Ivory against the Hardys and Lita. And I already forgot that the Hardys were WCW Tag Team Champions. The crowd chanted for Lita, and they got her when, she got tagged. They exploded all over Lita. Who hasn't? Gross. And there was a nice tripleplex spot. Ivory interferes. Eye of the Hurricane on Jeff. 1, 2, 3. There you go. APA then steal the Hurricycle. Damn. And then Alliance celebration. Test ate Deborah's cookies. He's not feeling well. Austin tells stories about how Kurt Angle was on the highway to success and ran into mile marker 316. They're in Canada, so I don't know if they would understand that. I don't know how they do the highways up there in Canada. Then Regal shows up to introduce Christian. Christian, at last, he's with the Alliance. Doesn't quite have the gravitas of the other lyrics. But who is in the limo? Again, it's Vince. So Taz took on Maven with Nydia in his third match in 3 weeks, and it's the same until Nydia pulls on Taz's leg, and then he walks under the bottom rope. Okay, enough short jokes about Taz, who's very talented. And suddenly Maven hits the most devastating maneuver in all professional wrestling. Surprise, roll up 1, 2, 3. So that's it. RVD then gets out of the limo and says, "It was good meeting you, dude." Then Foley's in his office with that dog. It was a stuffed dog that I believe a Make-A-Wish girl wanted Foley to have, and she unfortunately had passed away. And Foley kept it, and it was a nice way to honor her. At least I recall, I might be jumbling a couple things, but I remember he had that to honor that sick kid, which was really nice. Foley, one of the nicest guys in wrestling. I mean, almost too nice for wrestling, as some have said, but he was talking to Lillian about how The Rock and Jericho are teaming up. He's trying to nip this tension in the butt. That, would anybody have thought that Rock and, Mick Foley would team up after Rock hit him like 11 times in the head with a chair? That was goddamn brutal at the Royal Rumble 99. Fucking hell. Oh, and the Dudleys are going to take on Big Show and Tajiri at No Mercy. That'll put butts in seats. So Tess and Booker leave to get ready for their tag match, and RVD shows up and Austin says he will do the right thing at No Mercy. And rah rah and all that, so much sarcasm, because obviously Austin's trying to keep him under his thumb. And Hansman's watch and says, "It's saying it's time for RVD to be a famous star." Taker and Kane took on Tess and Booker, and I believe the longest match of the night. So it's basically a No Mercy preview because Kane takes on Tess, Taker takes on Booker. Of course, Taker would want to take down the Minority anyway, so it's just a brawl with big men smacking into each other. Big superplex by Kane, hot tag to Taker, and it just kept going. It wasn't necessarily bad. The crowd was really into this match. Booker grabbed a chair. He got swatted away. He goes for the last ride on Booker. Big boot from Test. Booker tops him. 1, 2, 3. And there you go. Then the limo opens and Vince is there. And Austin's all pissed off at RVD. And RVD's like, "What? What's going on? He just told me the same thing you told me, Stone Cold, that I should be a champion. I can be a big star." And Vince is the devil. Nobody would know that better than Stone Cold Steve Austin. RVD said, "Who else?" He's talking to RVD. "Give me my watch back. This Sunday, you're either with me or against me." And they're really trying to just smash all this stuff together because this angle is ending at Survivor Series, which is, I believe, a month away from the date of this show. So they're getting this shit together really quickly. And then Tajiri with Big Show took on Devon with Bubba and Stacy. There wasn't much to it. It wasn't a bad match, but obviously this would lead to ref distractions where the 3D would get hit on Tajiri, but then the ref was still distracted by Stacy, who wouldn't be. It was almost like a friend of mine, Zach, would have been the referee being distracted by Stacy. Sorry, Zach. Hi. And then chokeslam to Devon while Big Show's outside the ring, and Tajiri covers 1, 2, 3. Then Tori shows up after being powerbombed through a table by the Dudleys about, I think, 10 days ago. I think it was on that same show where Austin won the title back. I've reviewed so many of these in such a short time, but also so many of these shows blend together. You will forgive me if I forget about some of this stuff and exactly when it happened. Because that's one thing. It's kind of crazy. About the last year of WCW, I can remember some of that stuff, sort of. This stuff just all kind of blends together because they had so much talent, but they were utilizing it wrong. And then but they would still have hot crowds and they would still have good pay-per-views. So anyway, Tori shows up and strips Stacy's skirt off. Stop thinking about it. I know you know who you are. Stop it. Get some help. Because they have a, bra and panties match on, or a lingerie match, or whatever the fuck it is. It's going to be on No Mercy. That's scintillating television on pay-per-view. Anyway, we get footage from WWF New York where Linda hands a check to Mayor Giuliani. What a fucking difference 20 years makes, huh? Guy's leaking crude oil out of his goddamn head, and he's a crooked goddamn piece of shit, and he married one of his cousins, but he didn't know it was his cousin. Bull fucking shit. People like him that support people like who, yeah, they tend to be, the type to keep it in the family, if you know what I mean. But man, it was great that Linda McMahon handed Giuliani a check. It's just a shame that she was keeping one eye on the Secret Service and the other eye on Giuliani. I'm going to keep mocking Linda McMahon because she was part of his administration. You know whose administration, and she fucking deserves to be mocked. But anyway, Shane's then yelling about, Vince showing up, and Regal's telling him to calm down. You ran him out before, you run him out again. Jericho and The Rock were supposed to take on Raven and Just Incredible, and that didn't happen because Jericho and Rock glommed each other, and Jericho grabbed a chair, hit Rock with a chair, did the people's elbow, and basically stood over him. Cool, okay. Edge does a promo. He doesn't have a brother anymore, and he is not going to feel guilty about being a Christian after Christian on the previous Raw brought up the fact that their mother had been in an accident when she hadn't. And then No Mercy card rundown. Edge is trying to get at Christian in the Alliance locker room. Chuck Palumbo, Canyon, and Sean O'Hare, or no, not Sean O'Hare. I don't think Sean O'Hare was there. I think it was Hugh Morris. Oh, that explains it. Hugh Morris. No wonder I didn't remember because Hugh Morris didn't fucking matter. Even when he was General Rection, yes, that was an actual name. So it was a setup. Christian beats him up and says, say hello to Mom for me. And then RVD and Kurt Angle take on each other in a non-hardcore title match. RVD's still the hardcore champion at this point, by the way. And at the quick start, Angle was fired up. We get some step spots. Angle was bleeding pretty profusely. Austin got in. They never called the bell, but Tim White was just like, wait, what are you doing? What are you doing? Because he attacked Angle. And then he hits a stunner on Angle, shit cans RVD, and then tries to hit another, he tries to hit another stunner on Kurt. Kurt hits the Angle slam. And then, but Angle's down because he's all wiped out. And then 5-star Frog Splash 2, Stone Cold Steve Austin. And Vince McMahon shows up on the stage all smiling and does this. He does the thing. He doesn't know how to hitchhike, but he knows how to do that. But anyway, yeah, could it be RVD joined the WWE? What the hell is going on? Yeah, nice little tease there. Vince coming back. It's a way to hook people for the pay-per-view. And yeah, now we'll just continue. By we, I mean me. We'll just continue to cover this stuff and have a whole bunch of fun. Whoa, we're almost there. Anyway, agree, disagree with what I said. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.